The blackening night covers the skies as the wind whistles a chilling tune. The snow grows thick throughout this town of unnameable truths. On the night of Christmas Eve, the town locks their doors and dims their lights in their homes. No one speaks of this day, nor does anyone celebrate this time of happiness like the rest of the world, as they become prisoners of their own fear of what approaches in the night. This certain day marks an anniversary of the Claus family tragedy that happened 50 years ago. But the spirit of that day lives on in the minds of this town. The Claus family consists of 3 brothers and 2 sisters. Dad was a farmer who had a drinking problem, and Mom was a beautiful person who did all she could to hide the kids whenever Pop would go on a drinking spree. And most of the time, she would save the kids from getting beatings, intercepting him in his drunken rage as he beat her senselessly in front of them. Of course, all of that does take a toll on someone with a history of mental illness, and that was the case when it came to the mother of the fold. One evening, Darla got up in the middle of the night and went downstairs to the kitchen. Richard awoke to the sounds of someone crying, so he got up and slowly walked down the stairs and stopped at the bottom to peek around the corner to glance in the kitchen. Darla stood there at the corner smiling at him, and the sight of her startled him, and he fell down and asked her, "What are you doing?" She stopped smiling and said, "You think you can save her? You will all die before I let her go." Richard got up and grabbed her by the arms and started shaking her because he thought she was sleepwalking. But she picked him up by the throat and threw him against the wall. He was amazed of her strength and stared at her as she walked up the stairs. She stopped halfway and turned to him. "We are responsible for the evil that lives in this house." The next morning, at the breakfast table, everyone was eating, and Richard got up and walked to the door, and Darla said, "Where do you think you are going? You barely touched your food." Richard turned around and said, "I have to go finish the inside of the barn." Darla shot him a dirty look and then smiled. "Okay, my dear, I love you." Boom! The chilling sound that screamed in the children's ears, and the sight of the father laying on the ground lifeless. Everything is still and unsettling, except for Nick, who can't help but run to his father's aid, crying and trying to wake his dad. Mother clocks the shotgun and shoots Nick, and the rest of the kids run upstairs, but little Angie trips, and Norm extends his hand out to his little sister. Boom, boom, boom. Jack and Tracy are waiting for Norm and Angie to come upstairs, but all they hear is someone slowly walking up the steps. They both run into the room and hide into a corner. They hold each other in fear, and with each step their mother takes, they grab each other tighter and tighter. The door opens quickly, and Mother looks at them and points the shotgun at them. As she's about to say something, she stops and drops the shotgun. She falls to her knees, and they see Nick standing behind her with a knife. He is covered in blood, and he grabs her by the hair and pulls her head back and slits her throat. He just stands there looking at his mother bleed out onto the floor. Jack and Tracy get up and run out of the room, down the stairs where they see their sister and brother headless on the floor. They both run out the front entrance and drop to their knees, screaming and crying. And a car stops along the road. Two people run out of the car and run to their aid, asking them what is wrong. But Jack and Tracy cannot stop crying, can't make no sense of what they have seen. A flame starts to erupt inside the top left window, and soon enough it spreads throughout the rest of the house. The people ask the kids if there is anybody else inside the house, but they cannot speak. The police and fire trucks show up 10 minutes later, but it is too late as the house starts to cave in and drops to the ground. The police put Jack and Tracy in their squad car, and they slowly drive off, leaving the house, and Jack and Tracy sit up to look out the back window to see the house. They are both thinking the same thing, but will not say a word to anyone.